do you teach? So yeah, this is the correct question for A. Well done if you got this one. Can you now have a go at B, C, and D and do the same thing? So try to create correct questions using these words and then write your ideas in the chat box, please.
Level do you teach? Oh, Beth, is it the wrong slide?
Sorry. Okay. You don't need to answer the questions now. No, just have a look at B, C, and D and see if you can create the questions from these ones. I don't know if you could hear me when I explained before. Okay, so we've got A. What level do you teach? Is perfect. Now try to do B, C, and D, please. Just give you a few moments to think about it.
Good.
Okay. Good. So Ismi and Sophia have a question for B.
Yep.
Okay, more questions coming now. Good. So how many years? Almost correct, Uni. Keep trying, everybody. If you're not sure about B, you can go to C or D. That's fine. Okay, so Eno has done D. Good. All right. The answers are coming very quickly now.
Yeah, some good ideas.
Yeah, some people have got C and D. Okay, good. Well done. Just to say that we are now recording the session. So if you haven't had time to try the activities, if you want to go back and watch and listen again and have another go later, that's fine. We'll make the recording available on the website for you later. So here are the questions, and I think you got all of them. So B, how many years experience do you have as a teacher? And then are you teaching online lessons at the moment? And have you completed all the exercises from Unit 1? And it's fine if the answer to D is no. It's no problem at the moment. So we want to know the answers to these questions now, please. Mick is going to show a poll.
Yeah.
And we would like you to answer the questions about yourself so we can find out more about you.
Yeah, thanks, Beth. Yeah, I'll share this poll and you'll see these 4 questions and you'll have answers under each question. All you need to do is to click on the relevant answer, the answer that's correct for you. And you'll have 2 minutes to do this. So I'll start the poll now. So you should see it in front of you and you need to scroll down to answer all 4 questions. Great, somebody's answered already. Very fast.
Great. So this is really interesting and useful for us to learn more about you and your teaching situations and your experience. You know, as you know, as teachers at the beginning of any course, it's really important to find out as much as you can about the people that you're working with, so that you are better aware of what their needs are and things like this. So it's really interesting for us.
Oh, don't know who this is.
No. Should we let them in?
Yeah. Okay, so 72% of you have voted so far. You've got another 30 seconds or so. So if you've not responded, please do. And then we can go through some of the answers, some of the ideas.
I think some people may be answering in the chat box rather than the poll, so that's no problem.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll give you another 5 seconds. I'm going to end it. 2, 1. Okay, and so I'll share the results. And you should see the results now, and we can go through some of these and get some ideas. So as Beth said, it's a really good idea at the beginning of a course to find out something about the learners, the students that you're working with, so it can help you to decide how you're going to run the course. So if we look at the first question, 60% of you in grades 7 and 9, and another 20% in 10 and 12. So the vast majority of you work with secondary school children. Only a few work with primary school, and other, I guess by that, it could be private or university teaching. So yeah, it seems that the vast majority are secondary school teachers. And in Unit 2, we're going to be looking a lot at the education system in the UK, and we'll give you the opportunity to compare the education in Indonesia with the education system in the UK. Okay, with question 2, we can see just under half of you have 3 to 9 years experience as a teacher. Some of you, 37%, is more than 10, and minority has just got 1 or 2 years. So most of you have got about 3 to 9 years. Nobody has been teaching for over 20 years. I don't think I have, actually. Maybe that will be soon. I don't know. Okay, so question 3. Most of you are teaching online, 80%. That's a vast majority. There's a small minority that are still teaching perhaps face-to-face. In the UK at the moment, all our teaching, universities, schools, etc., is done online. I think there are some small classes at school for teachers and for hospital workers, for the children of these people. But the vast majority of us are teaching online. It's the same with you. And we're kind of pleased here, actually very pleased, that most of you have started Unit 1. Some of you have finished all of it. In fact, almost all of you have finished all of it or most of it. And just a few people, 4 people, haven't started yet. So obviously you have some homework tonight and tomorrow to complete the tasks. That's great. Thanks. Just stop.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Great. So we know a little bit more about each other now, but we want to find out even more. So can you think, what do you want to know about your course mates? What questions do you want to ask each other? Have a think for a moment and then type some questions in the chat box. So for example, I might want to know, where do you teach? Yeah, so give me some more ideas of questions that you would like to ask each other.
Okay, Desi, yeah? See if you can make that into a question, Desi. Sophia, where do they live? Or where do you live? Think about, yeah, where do you live? Which part of Indonesia? Yeah, we realize it's a huge country, many islands. That's a good question.
Okay.
You have
Any
some
more
difficulties?
questions? How do you feel about being a teacher, an English teacher? I think
that's a good
somebody has
question.
asked. Yeah, that's interesting. Any more for me to write, Nick?
There's a good one here. How do you teach online?
Mm,
How do you teach online lessons? That's really good.
yeah,
Very topical.
exactly. We can get some tips from each other here.
What do you do in your leisure
Good.
time while you're a housewife?
Mhm.
Free time. I think we've got questions about free time too.
Good.
How do you teach your students?
Okay, thank you.
How do you give a funny lesson to your students? That's nice from Ismay.
Oh, yes. I'll write this one.
That's a nice one. And Dede's got, how do you reduce students being bored? How do you reduce students' boredom in studying English? So we've got boredom. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
some good ones there. Really interesting questions. I think better than our questions. More thoughtful, I think, your questions.
More interesting, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to show you some ideas that we had. But yeah, I think as Nick said, perhaps your questions are slightly more interesting than ours. Okay. So these were the ones that we thought of, similar to your questions, I think. And also, you know, thinking about the topics that we've covered in Unit 1 this week as well. Okay, so in a little while, you'll get the opportunity to work in groups with each other, and perhaps you can ask and answer some of these questions. So it may be a good idea now if you use your phone and take a photograph of these questions on the screen, or perhaps take a screenshot so that you can remember the questions that you could ask each other later. Let's give you a moment to do that. I can see some people taking pictures. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a good 42 people.
Yeah, good
Brilliant.
turnout. All right, so I have to clear this now so we can move. So I hope you had time to take the picture. All right, Nick?
Yep. Yep. So on the screen in front of you, you'll see some expressions that we can use in a conversation with somebody. So if we look at number 1, we've got what about you? And you, what do you do in your free time? So number 1, what do we think these questions represent? Do they, or is it about disagreeing, agreeing? What do we think? Why do we ask these questions? What's the function of these questions in number 1? Opinion, someone's put. Asking opinion, yeah, that's a good idea. Asking for information, yeah, almost right. Beth, can you show us the answer? So for number 1, yeah, asking another person to talk. Now you can see that number 1, they're both questions. It's a question mark. And with a question like this, we'd say something like, what about you? What about you? We're asking, we're expecting some information from the person we're talking about. Now I'd like to listen to you all repeating after me, but there are 40 people and we think it would be kind of crazy to hear everybody repeating. So without turning your microphone on, if you just want to repeat after me, what about you? What about you? I can hear, yeah, I can see some lips moving. And then we have, and you, what do you do in your free time? So we have to think about how the words work. What do you do in your free time? So if you want to repeat that, what do you do in your free time? So you'll notice the way we speak English, we don't say, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do in your free time? Brilliant. Okay, so number 2, what do we think is the function of number 2? Somebody said agreement. Yeah. You. Miranti said the same, agreement. Yeah. Beth, can you show us number 2? I think Beth's frozen. I think she's frozen. Beth, are you there? There's some, yeah. I think she's frozen. She's got the slides, but number 2 is agreeing. So if you want to repeat after me too. Me too. And I don't like. I think Beth's just left. Just bear with her. She's coming back in, I'm sure, in a second. Obviously, as you've noticed, teaching online, one of the problems we have is the internet and technical problems. So I'm sure, let me see if I can share my screen instead. So, share screen. Just bear with me. Apologies for this.
Sorry, I
you're
appear
back.
to have lost connection for a moment.
I was about to share my screen then.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange. Sorry.
I'm sure this has happened to everybody. I was
sure,
teaching once
yeah.
and I couldn't, yeah, some people are nodding their heads.
Very common.
It's very useful if there are 2 teachers in the room sometimes. So if you can in your school,
Absolutely.
get somebody to help you in the room, then if you have any technical problems, you have somebody there to help you. Yeah. The only problem is if you both have technical problems.
Well, luckily that hasn't happened yet. So.
Yeah.
Okay, are we on number 3?
Yeah, we'll go to number 3. Rush through.
Do you want the answer for number 3? Sorry.
Yeah, you can. So we've got agreement for number 2. You able to share it, Beth? Do you want me to?
So,
I could share mine if I could share mine. Yeah, can everyone see that? I think the answers are up already. Okay, yeah. I don't know what happened here. Oops. So the numbers are wrong. I think my formatting is not very good. So number 3, what have we got for number 3? So that should be number 3. Any ideas for that? Anybody? Yeah, preferences. Okay.
good.
Yeah, and we've got disagreeing. So number 3 is disagreeing. So if you disagree with what somebody said, you might say, do you like that? They might say to you, do you like that? And you say, I don't. So the stress there would be on don't. I don't. Okay. Number 4. So number 4 is this one here. I can't draw it. Oops, I've gone technical issues. So number 4 is wow, that's great, or oh really? What have we got for that? Compliments. Somebody said, yeah. What's the spelling of compliment? Is it an I or an E? Compliment, yeah, with an I.
Good.
Yeah, giving a compliment with an I. An E is if 2 things go together. Good. Okay, so number 4, I've got reacting to what someone said. So things like, we can say things like, wow, that's great, or oh, really? That sounds interesting. So if you think about how we can say this, showing emotion, wow, that's great. Or, oh, really? That sounds interesting. Okay, and then finally, number 5, what have we got for that? Yeah, uni, preference, good. Okay. Number 5, I've got expressing preferences. Apologies for the numbering here. I had some problems with my formatting. So it's, yeah, so I'm really interested in, or I don't mind. Excellent. Great. So if you want to take a picture of that, please feel free to. Just give you a few seconds so you've got some expressions. That's number 5. Okay. Hopefully you've all taken a picture of this. Yep, great. Okay, so, oops.
Okay, so that's enough of us talking. I think now it's time for you to talk to each other and use some of this language in order to find out more about your course mates. So we'll put you into small groups and we would like you to do these 3 things. So introduce yourself, talk about what you like doing in your free time, but you can also ask some of the other interesting questions that you thought of earlier. See what you have in common and also whether there are any differences between you. And it may be a good idea while you're talking to make some notes so that you remember some interesting information that you learn about each other. So we'll give you about 10 minutes to do this. Again, if you want to take a picture or a screenshot of this screen, then you'll remember the task when you go into the breakout rooms. Don't worry, we're having problems with technology too.
Yeah, it's one of those days. Okay, so hopefully everyone's taken a picture. I'll be starting the breakout rooms in about 5 seconds. You'll be asked to join. Just click on yes to join, and then you'll have 10 minutes and you'll see a timer so you'll know how long you've got to speak. Please take it in turns, and as Beth said, make some notes. So I'll start them now. Oh, someone's lost electricity. No problem. You should be moved now. Are you able to join the rooms? You should be able to go to the rooms.
Yourself and then
talking about
I'm just
free
listening.
time.
Please speak.
about what
free time maybe.
in our leisure time. Yes.
Yes. Okay, who's the first?
Hey, Bu Desi. Halo, Bu Desi.
Miss Sepni, ladies
Bu
first,
Desi.
please.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Gentlemen.
So,
okay. Well. Okay, my name's Sepni Hanita. You may call me Sepni. I live in Bungo, in Jambi province. Have you know it? Jambi?
yes, I know from the Atlas.
Well,
Right.
I teach an Yeah, I teach in vocational high school. I've been teaching for 2 years now, 3 years, but I just teaching English for.
Yes, what's the plan? Do you gardening?
This is gardening. It is oh yes, the sorry ya. It's a blank. Unforgettable. It's unforgettable.
Nggak mau ya kan webcamnya ya kan.
Hello. You can help me, sir.
Yeah, how are you? What's the problem? You okay?
Yes.
I'm just listening to you.
Ya.
Who's speaking now?
Hello, hello, Mr. Oh,
Hello.
Hello?
I don't know what happened with my webcam it is.
Okay. Please, yeah, just discuss the questions. I just wanted to listen to you for a minute. So if you want to discuss any of those questions amongst yourselves, please do so.
Okay, Mr. Bigar, can you hear me? Miss Nino?
yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Introduce myself. My name is Mr. Ucup ya. This is Mr. Bigar. What do you do in your free time, Mr. Bigar?
Yeah, sometime in free time, I take a walk with my doctor around the yard behind my house.
Wow,
and
that's nice.
Every morning for about 10 minutes enough. Yeah, just take a walk.
What is it?
Okay, well, I teach in the primary school.
Primary,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, yes. In Bunga Bangsa Islamic Primary School. Yes, I teach in the first grade.
Yes, in the first grade.
Yeah. And my school is in Samarinda. Yeah. Yeah, that's for me. Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. Yes, I am Nurul from Surabaya. I still confused why my video cannot show.
Hello.
Well, I teach in Junior High School 48 Surabaya. Okay, until now I teach online.
Yeah.
Because of pandemic COVID. Yeah.
Sure.
How about you, friend? How about Bu Laila in Papua?
Yeah, I am teaching online too, mostly on Zoom. And then I give students quizzes to make them interested in learning English, because in quizzes sometimes they are challenged to be competitive to do the task right. If they do the questions right and in the efficient time, then they will be ranked in the higher or highest rank, like that. So I usually use quizzes, and then maybe I will.
And my hobby is watching movie. And I hope I can improve my English bit of
Yeah.
the course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Nasrina.
Yeah, nice to see you, ma'am. And sir.
And then,
what
else?
Time is over, maybe.
Who's not spoken yet?
What?
We still have 1 minute, 20 seconds left.
Exactly.
Yes, what we are going to do next after we have introduced ourselves.
Right. There are many comments and what the difference with each other in our group. Maybe in Semarang it is still PKM or PSBB in Semarang.
Oh, yeah.
How about
so that's in Samarinda, sir.
Yes, in Medan too.
Yes.
Yes.
Still offline lesson, right?
Online.
Yeah.
Online. Yeah, online.
How do you teach your students, sir?
Google Classroom.
How do you teach your students during?
Yeah, Google Classroom and Gmeet. Google Classroom and Google Meet sometimes, and
Great.
block to reflective the result of Google Classroom. Sometimes the student don't do the assignment. We make a reflection at the block to share our feeling, our hearts, our experience, the students and the teacher maybe.
Yes, that's great.
Excellent. Good ideas.
Okay, so it means that do you have your own blog, Mr. Amin?
Yes, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Time is
Really
over.
impressive.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's really impressive.
Yes, time's up.
Some interesting things I've heard.
Hello.
Hi. Bethy, are you able to share your screen?
I can try. There we go.
Brilliant.
We come back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to.
Hello.
Come back to main room.
Yep, we're all back in the main room, I hope. Great.
Actually, we need more time.
I know. We realize this, and I think in the future we'll try to give you more time for the group work activities.
Yeah.
This is, a great opportunity for you to speak to each other and get to know each other and learn from each other.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I think that would be really beneficial for everybody. And we heard some really great ideas in the rooms that we went into. So it was very, very interesting. Nick, I don't know if you want to share anything that you heard.
Yeah, I heard some interesting things because obviously Beth and I don't really know Indonesia. I've never been, and Beth's never been. So for us, just hearing about your experiences and what you're doing is really interesting. And I suppose what I find interesting is how big your country is. And you don't, one of the teachers said, I'm from this island. The other teacher said, where's that? It's your country is so big. I think some of your islands are bigger than the island that we live on in Great Britain. So that's quite interesting for me to find out about that. I also heard, that a lot of you are working online. Some of you are using Zoom, Google Classrooms. One teacher was talking about using blogs as well. I thought was interesting with his learners. And then someone was talking about their free time, just walking out with their daughter, walking around the yard. That was interesting too. And somebody was saying about using quizzes online with her learners, which I thought was good. Obviously trying to engage the learners, getting them interested in what they're doing. It's interesting for us because we don't know Indonesia, as I said, so it's good for you to share your ideas of what works for you in your country, in your context, because we're not experts in your country at all. So we think it's really good that you're doing this and sharing your ideas and what works for you, because I think you'll learn a lot from each other. So yeah, I heard a lot of good things. Beth?
And also, just to pick up on that point, this is another good way in which you can use the WhatsApp groups as well to really learn from each other, share ideas and best practice in your teaching situations. And, you know, hopefully these WhatsApp groups and these communities of practice that you establish during the course will continue beyond your course with us, and you'll be able to continue to learn from your colleagues in Indonesia with you. That's another hope that we have for this course. Okay, so thank you. And yeah, I think, you know, for us to reflect on this session, I think it would be very useful to allow you more time for the group work activities next week, as some people suggested. So certainly we'll do that. We'd also now like to give you the chance to reflect a little on what you've learned and what you've practiced today in the session. Is there anything that you think you still need to revise? Any of the language, for example? Is there anything that you still want to know more about? And are there any ideas that you've taken from this session today that you could perhaps use with your students? So this is personal reflection. It's private for you. Think about it. Make a note if you want to. I think one very good idea for reflection is to keep some sort of diary or journal where you can write down your reflections to refer back to later. I think this can be a very useful tool, and something I think that you do with your students as well, looking at some of the course books that you use. I see at the end of a lot of the units, there is a space for the students to reflect. Yeah. And this is key for development, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you still need to revise?
So just to repeat, we recorded this session. I think we missed the first 5 minutes, but we've got most of the sessions recorded. So if you want to revisit the session, if you missed anything or anything was too quick or whatever, or there's some ideas, please feel free to view it. It will be available, I think, very soon in the Foundry, as far as I know. But thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for coming. It was really nice to see you all, to hear you, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Dad.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Good
Nick.
night. I guess it's almost bedtime for you now. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
May we have a picture?
Oh, good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Picture.
Yeah, you could do a screen grab, can't you, I think?
Anybody can take it? Okay.
Yeah.
Smile. Say cheese, cheese.
Cheese.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mr.
Bye.
Bye.
Enjoy your evening.
Nick, thank you very much for learning and teaching today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for teaching. Thank you for teaching me.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye now, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye, sir.